let's talk about a force that's so fundamental to who we are. It's something that can build us up into something amazing, or it can tear us down to absolute rock bottom. We're talking about pride, and as we're about to see, it is a classic double-edged sword.
I mean, really think about that. What if the one thing that makes you strong, the thing that defines your entire character, is also the very seed of your own destruction? That's the huge idea we're diving into today, and we're going to look at it through a really specific cultural lens.
So the key concept we need to get is this word jajanshim. Now, this is way more than just ego. The best way to think about it is like an inner pillar, the absolute core of your self-respect that holds you up. And, having a strong jajanshim isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, this perspective says it's absolutely essential. It's the foundation of any strong person. But this is where it all splits into. See, the problem isn't having pride. It's what you attach that pride to. When your pride is rooted in a strong, rational inner core, it makes you stronger. But when you attach that same powerful force to something that's irrational or unjust, well, that's when it becomes incredibly destructive. All right, so let's dig into that dark side. How exactly does this powerful, totally essential part of us end up leading to complete and utter ruin? Wow. I mean, that is put so bluntly, and I think that's what makes it so powerful. This isn't some gentle little warning. It's a straight-up statement of cause and effect. A little bit of misplaced pride, you're going to have a hard time. A lot of it, that doesn't just make things harder. It leads to a total collapse.
And this breaks it down perfectly. It's a two-step process, and it's not complicated. First, life just gets difficult. You start hitting walls, facing friction you don't need to. But if you keep doubling down on that destructive pride, you don't just stay in difficulty. Nope, you move right on to step 2, ruin.
And believe me, the stakes are incredibly high. We've all seen stories just like this. Just think about Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues and the Capulets, whose family pride literally led to the deaths of their own children. And this isn't just fiction. You see it in real life, with wealthy families losing fortunes over ego, or people sacrificing something much bigger for a tiny, hollow win that was all about pride. So if pride is the poison, then what in the world is the antidote? Well, the argument here is that it's not some big secret. It's actually a fundamental law of nature itself, humility. Okay, now check out this fascinating pattern in human nature. When things get really, really tough, like when we're sick or maybe our finances collapse, our natural instinct is to become humble. We kind of let go of our pride because we have to survive. But the second things get a little comfortable again, that pride comes roaring right back, and it puts us right back on that path to difficulty. And this is the absolute key. This is presented not just as good advice, but as a universal law, just like gravity. It doesn't matter if you're facing a physical illness or an economic crisis. The path to recovery is paved with extreme humility. It's not just a good idea, it's the fundamental way things work. Okay, so we've been talking about this on a personal level, right? This individual battle with pride. But what happens when we scale this whole idea up and apply it to the people who are supposed to be leading our society? Now that's a question, isn't it? We throw the term public figure around all the time for people in power. But are they? Really? Based on the standard we're about to explore, the answer might actually shock you. And there it is. What a sharp, powerful distinction. The job title, president, CEO, professor, sure, that's public. But the person in that role is often acting from a private place, driven by their own pride, their own agenda, their own jajanshim. And that brings us to this new, really important term, gongin. This isn't just a title you get, it's a state of being. A true gongin is someone who has moved beyond their personal pride and lives entirely for the public good. Their actions aren't for them, they're for everyone. So what does that actually look like? Well, a true gongin isn't using their position to get rich. They're not stubbornly pushing their own ideas no matter what. And this is a big one. They show zero favoritism. Their family, their background, their personal beliefs, none of that gets in the way. Their only purpose is to act in a way that benefits everybody. So just as you're racking your brain trying to think of who might fit this description, we get hit with this bombshell. According to this very strict definition, a true gongin has never existed in all of human history. Not one, ever. Now, that's a pretty startling claim, right? But it's not meant to be the end of the story. It actually sets the stage for this massive, almost prophetic idea. that this long history of failure is just the setup for a huge change that's supposed to be happening right now. According to this worldview, all of human history up until 2013 was the pre-heaven era, basically a long, necessary training ground for humanity. We were learning what a true public figure should be by seeing everything that they are not. But from 2013 on, we've supposedly entered the post-heaven era, an age where these true public figures are finally meant to appear.
So who are these new leaders? They're called Sunjishik. You could translate that as an enlightened intellectual. Now, this isn't just about being book smart. We're talking about an intellectual who has reached a state of enlightenment that allows them to tap into a kind of higher power or a deeper understanding of things. And it's not random. There's actually a clear step-by-step process for how they're supposed to emerge. First, humanity needed to create a class of intellectuals. That's step one, and we've done that. Now, in this new era, those intellectuals can gain enlightenment, becoming a senjishik. And from that state, they can finally become a true gongin.
So why does any of this matter? Well, because these true public figures wouldn't just be better politicians. They would be able to design real, fundamental solutions to problems that have been with us forever. Think about something like social welfare. For centuries, leaders have just put on temporary bandages, like handing out money. A gongin, using this enlightened perspective, could supposedly build a system that actually works from the ground up. Which leaves us with this one final massive question to think about. After our entire history has been defined by leaders driven by personal pride, are we really truly on the cusp of a new era led by selfless, enlightened figures? The perspective we've explored today makes the incredibly bold claim that we are. What you do with that idea, well, that is entirely up to you.